Hello, welcome back to Space Engineers. I'm sitting here enjoying a nice, relaxing afternoon in front of the fireplace. Probably one of our last times to enjoy this view for a while, anyways, as by the end of this episode, we'll be orbiting the planet. But between last episode and this episode, I did do some changes, as you can see to here. Created this door and this stairway, and down here, as you can see, I've created a hangar space to go along with that back door. Now, I've not yet done a runway, but we can come back to this base at some point in the future. But our machinery has processed all the magnetite that we had finally. It took forever. We don't have a whole lot of iron to start off with, but we do have those beam drills on the ship, so we should be able to find an asteroid pretty quick. And most of the asteroids have tons and tons of iron, so that should not be a problem. The way I have it set up, there should be about half of our ingots, half of our ice, and half of all of our components here on board the ship when we take off. So we'll have some starting supplies to get up there and start producing first a scout ship, and then, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to come over here and grab a couple of our oxygen bottles, because once we get up to space, we will not have oxygen outside of the spaceship, and so we'll need to have a supply. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of these oxygen bottles. There's 2 left here and 3 hydrogen bottles. I might go ahead and take the 3rd hydrogen bottle. Once we get into space, it won't be quite so necessary for us, for me, actually. I'm going to take all of these oxygen bottles, because I won't need them down here. Up in outer space, our needs will probably be for 1 oxygen bottle and 1 hydrogen bottle on our person. At all times, hydrogen won't get used nearly as much as it does down here on the planet's surface. So the only other thing we need to do is detach this connector and retract the that piston. So we'll climb up the scaffolding here. To this place, and it is quite a climb, because this spaceship is very tall. But this is the exciting time. One more level. We're very close. Okay, here we go. That's unlocked. And that's being retracted. Alright, we'll have to fly up here. For whatever reason, the oxygen vents are not working. Okay. Our thrust is on. Um, make sure. Okay, yep. All of our thrusters are on. And we're ready to go. Alright. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Here we go. Off into the great blue beyond. We are at 500 meters per second. Bit of a snag here in the gameplay. Apologize for that. That happens sometimes when you're taking off in a ship, especially when they're flying this fast. Oh yeah, we've got so much thrust, it's not even funny. So we don't need to worry about maintaining full thrust. I'm just going to toggle this back and forth for a bit. We're at 6/10 planetary gravity right now. That's going to drop off pretty quick. We're at 12,000 meters already. Another hiccup in the gameplay here. This should even out once we get out into space. Or it may not. Sometimes the ships just don't react well to the speed mod. But without the speed mod, if you don't have a jump drive, it takes literally forever to get from one point to the next. Because even though the asteroids may look like they're close, they're not. If that makes sense. So basically, what I'm going to do when we get out into space is find an asteroid that's fairly close so I can start mining iron, collecting iron, and then build kind of a temporary, maybe not so temporary, space station on that asteroid that's hopefully well within range of the ground base for the transporters. The large transporters can transport, I think, 50 kilometers, and the small ones can only transport 30 kilometers. So on board the ship we have a small transporter, but on the ground we have a large transporter. So that should make things pretty easy. I apologize for this hiccup. This is not so good when it comes to good quality video. There we go. Artificial gravity starting to pick up. We're well under half the planetary gravity, so we're getting very close to being outside of the gravity well of this planet, of the Terran planet. I'm going to go ahead and slow our speed down a bit, which is just fine. There we go. Now we'll keep the speed about 150 meters per second, or around in there. This way, when we get out of the planetary gravity well, we can stop fairly quickly and assess the situation as to where we are. What kind of asteroids might be close by, etc. You can see we're at 0.19 planetary gravity. That's exciting. We're almost out. And we're at 25,000 meters. So we're almost out of reach for the small transporter already. So that will make getting the large transporter base up and running that much more important. This is the third time that the game has hiccuped like this since I took off. It seems to only do this when I'm in a ship attempting to go somewhere at any kind of speed. But our speed's not really all that fast at the moment. 43 meters per second. That's not very fast at all. Of course, I've got more than enough thrust to keep us up so long as we have plenty of hydrogen. If we run out of hydrogen, we'll fall back to the planet at this point, which may not be such a good thing. So hopefully it will get over its hiccup here shortly, and we'll be able to continue and finish leaving the Terran planet's gravity well, which we're very close. We are very, very close. We're using very little power. We've got plenty of power on board, which is good because those two beam drills do require quite a heavy amount of power output when they're in use. One thing I've not done yet is to name the ship. If anybody's got any ideas for a name, by all means leave a comment below. Again, I apologize for the delay because this is not supposed to happen like this, but it does. Seems to be worse in a small grid ship, but for some reason or another, I usually don't have any problem in the large grid ships, but it's giving me fits here. It should clear up any minute now, hopefully. Okay. Not yet. Very kind of frustrating because you hear the sounds and it sounds like it's going, but it's like nothing's happening. It's it's like the game's frozen. And I imagine it probably has something to do with my video card because it's not necessarily the best in the world. That is the first thing on my list to upgrade when I get the opportunity. And again, I apologize for my voice not being quite normal. I still have a sore in my mouth. I've got a doctor's appointment next week, hopefully to find out what's wrong with it and get it fixed. It's really frustrating. It doesn't hurt terribly bad, but it does hurt. And it does make talking a little bit of a constraint, which at times like this is a bit irritating because I feel like I've got to fill the gap with talking instead of just sitting here looking at a non-moving screen that's not doing anything. So anyways, so yeah, I think I'll come back to you guys when this unfreezes or I reload the game and we can go from there. Be right back. All right, welcome back. While I was gone, I actually had an update to the game, so a lot of the heads-up display has changed considerably. Makes it quite a bit less cluttered, so they say, but we're still having the jerkiness with the liftoff, etc. Gravity is a bit different than it used to be. Looks like we still have plenty of hydrogen, plenty of power. Our dampeners are on at the moment. Just trying to get a feel for all this new stuff that's around. Okay, pretty neat stuff. Still having same issues with this freezing up like this. It's really irritating. It's very difficult to get out of orbit when you can't get there without the game chucking up on you. I do apologize. I wish there was something I could do about it, but short of restarting the game, and that doesn't seem to make a difference. Does not seem to make a difference at all. We're so close to being out of the planetary gravity well. So close. I don't know how to figure this 4.78 meters per second. I think we're going a little faster than that. At least I hope so. Well, hopefully this won't take too much longer and we'll, aha, there we go. Now we're going. It's being very jerky. And we seem to have frozen again. Okay, here we go. Ah, we're going back all the way through our head. Okay. So we actually were at 4.78 meters per second. This is kind of weird, but Welcome to Space Engineers, folks. There are changes being made all the time. Okay, so here we are, 500 meters per second, and we're at 30,000 feet. Meters. Sorry, my Americanism coming out. We're down to 1.3 planetary gravity, so we're very close to being out of planetary gravity field, the gravity well. Now, how long will this last? Hopefully not long. You can see my health is at 79%, my oxygen is 89%, my energy is 100%, my hydrogen is 86%. Aha, there we go. I'm going to guess that when the planetary gravity gets down to 0, or maybe less than 0.5, that's where it used to be. When it got below 0.5, it gave up. Okay, another freeze. Oh, look, there's an asteroid right in front of us, another one over there. Sweet. This could be very fortuitous. So see, at the height we are right now, 40,000 meters, we're out of range for the transporter. Which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So, I will have to, as soon as we can, get a base established up here with a large transporter so that we can transport back and forth between the Terran base and outer space, which will make life very, well, I mean, a little bit easier, but not necessarily a breeze, because the transporters work for people, but not necessarily things. It'll transport what you have on your person, which, I mean, that's a limited amount, so. At this point, I'd say that once it unfreezes itself, I could probably just go ahead and let it drain off the speed, and I'll be fine as far as getting ourselves out of the planetary gravity well, is my guess, because we're so close. It's at 0.58, I believe, or 0.59, something like that. And I'm pretty sure once it drops below 0.5, it's that you're no longer in the gravity well. So I don't know if you know this, but our stopping thrusters, our forward-facing thrusters, are actually ion thrusters. Because of the stone to ingots mod, we were able to collect enough platinum to make a few thrusters. So that's what I did. But the rest of the thrusters on the whole ship are hydrogen thrusters, which means basically in order for this ship to continue going anywhere, it's got to have ice. Doesn't need ice to stop, but it does need ice to go forward or side to side or all that, up or down. This is really irritating. I wish it would stop doing this. Basically, this means that getting out of Earth's atmosphere is pretty much the extent of this episode, much as it should have been just a small part of the episode. But that means the next episode will start season 2 of the Let's Play Space Engineers with Andy K, myself, and it'll be in orbit. We'll be in orbit, so that's exciting. New terrain, new episode, new season. I had a really good interview this morning, which is exciting because it would be a good job. It's very close to my home, well within walking or biking distance. Of course, I live in southern Indiana, and that means that sometimes in the winter months, even though you're close, you just don't really want to walk or bike because it can be miserably cold. Maybe I'm just a weakling. Because when I was in school, I had friends that biked every single day to school, even when it was 30 below zero. And that, I walked at least part of the way to get on the bus, but even that was miserable. Of course, 30 below, I don't think 30 below can be anything but miserable. But, I mean, people live in the Arctic, above the Arctic circle all the time, so I guess you learn how to cope with it, but I have never learned how to cope with cold weather because I just don't like it. I am definitely the kind of guy that would be very happy with tropical type seasons year round. Okay, here we go. We're going to see how we do here. I'm not going to push on the gas. And literally, I can say that because it would be putting on the hydrogen. We're at 0.55, still above 4 meters per second. Right, 0.54, 0.53, 0.52. That is a very large asteroid. It looks like it has ice. 0.51. So that could be extremely fortuitous. 0.50. We'll see if this works. Right. Very, very close. 0.49. Okay, I'm going to give it just a little bit of gas here. Okay, planetary gravity 0.00. Artificial gravity is 9.81. And we are taking a very long time to bleed off those last couple meters per second. Right. We have come to a stop. Maybe. Alright. decided to freeze on us again. Yeah, this HUD is much less cluttery than the old one was, so I think I'm going to learn to like it. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but all in all, it's pretty good. It doesn't look like we used a ton of our hydrogen. We'll have to check our tanks and see how they turned out. I did have quite a few tanks on board, so that's going to make a big difference. And then we'll want to check our ice supply as well. Yeah, nothing seems to be working. So it is frozen with 0.04 meters per second still on the speedometer. That's really irritating. So I have a feeling that if I were not if I did not have any speed on the speedometer, we would not be freezing so much. Hiccups. Very, very irritating. See how that looks like a ball of ice right there at the top of that asteroid. And maybe it's just the graphics playing tricks on me, but I think maybe that's what that is. We'll find out in the next episode for sure. So be sure to stay tuned for Season 2, Episode 1 of Space Engineers with Andy K. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this episode, which is admittedly kind of boring because it's just me sitting in the cockpit facing the darkness of space and flying out of the atmosphere of Earth. But I appreciate you joining me. Please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and tune in next week, probably maybe Monday, for the next episode. Tuesday may not get an episode because I do have that doctor's appointment in the morning. And Monday is my birthday, so we'll see. Play it by ear. Maybe middle of the week. But anyways, stay cool, y'all. Bye.